Hey everybody, thank you so much for being here. My name is Peppa. You may know me as Peppa Llama, and this is one of my original blog posts that I originally wrote on my blog on my website, peppalama.com. I'm making these recordings because I want to share this content with you in a different format. If you're like me, you probably don't like staring at a screen to read. I know I personally prefer to use an actual physical book when I read, and I feel like I spend enough time in my life staring at a screen, whether it's on my computer or on my phone, so I'm definitely trying to be mindful of how many hours I'm staring at screens. So I wanted to share this content with you in this way so that you can listen to it. Set some time aside if you want to listen to it mindfully. Perhaps you want to just sit in your home and just put your full attention onto listening to what I have to say here. Perhaps you want to create something as you're listening. This might be a nice invitation for you to pull out your creative tools, whatever those are, and create some art as you're listening to what I have to say. You could put on your headphones and go for a walk in nature and listen. However this shows up for you, as you want to incorporate this into your day, I invite you to do it however feels the most meaningful for you. One of the other reasons that I'm sharing it in this format is because this is kind of the way that I communicate with most of my friends. We use WhatsApp and we send voice notes back and forth to each other. We talk about our day, we share our stories, we give guidance to each other. I feel like it's a way that most human beings are connecting at this point in modern life. So sending kind of a voice note back and forth to your friends, I want this to feel like that. I want it to feel like a very genuine conversation. I want it to feel like human to human connection. And everything that I have to say here, I'll also share in the notes anything that I reference, and I'll also share the original blog post on my website if you wanted to read that in your own time as well. So today's blog post is one that I wrote back in January, and it's one of my favorite facts that I think I've learned in all of my everything that I've put together in this creative wellness offerings that I'm putting out there, and my philosophy of curate a life that is a work of art, is that 15 minutes is just 1% of your day. I want you to think about that fact for a minute, and the fact that 15 minutes out of your 24-hour day is just 1%. And think about, do I have the time to commit to 15 minutes or 1% of my day? Because, the excuse a lot of people have for not finding time to be creative or to do a lot of things for wellness in general is like, I don't have the time. I can't find the time in my day to do that. But if you sit and think about it, do you have time for 1%? I'm pretty sure you do. And when you break it down that way, it's only 15 minutes. It becomes a very achievable block of time. You're not setting yourself some crazy lofty goal. You can commit to 15 minutes. You can commit to 1% of your day. And that's why I love this fact so much. So let's read the original post. You can sit and listen as I'm reading through, and I'm going to give my little anecdotes and give some context to what I've written here as well. So when you break it down, 15 minutes is just 1% of your entire day. That's it. One tiny sliver of time that can be dedicated to your wellness, creativity, or overall mental clarity. And this is something that I invite you to think about in all areas of your life. No matter what you're doing, if you're trying to build a habit, if you have a routine, if you're doing something mindfully, just set yourself the goal that you're going to do it for 15 minutes, just 1% of your day. Breaking it down into something that's achievable is a sure way that you're going to be able to commit to it, rather than committing to something that's huge and seems overwhelming at the time. 1%, 15 minutes, I think everybody can say that they could commit to that. The compounding impact of committing to this 1% daily will become obvious once you start doing it. Daily commitment to small actions accumulate to shape your habits, shape your mindset, and it also shapes your overall sense of well-being over time. And that's what this is. This is a practice. When you invite yourself to practice something every day, you're setting yourself up to create a foundation that's going to build over time, and you're going to see the compounded efforts of that. So in a world where busyness is often glorified, which I say is when we're in the yang, when we have to be busy, when we have to do, when we have to be outward, when we have to be expressive, which is a very yang state of being, the idea of taking time for yourself can feel daunting. But what if we reframed that? What if I told you, I only need to give you 1% of your day to yourself, just 1%. Suddenly that idea becomes achievable. So let's explore how dedicating just 15 minutes a day to your creative wellness is key to curating a life that is a work of art. And so why 15 minutes? 15 minutes might seem like an insignificant number at first, but when you engage in it consistently, the results are anything but. Committing just 1% of your day to yourself is about building a foundation for your creativity to flow without force. And as we're speaking on Taoist terms, we always want things to be flowing. We don't want anything to be forcing. So if you just spend 15 minutes every day on an intentional creative practice, and when I say intentional, you're going to be present, you're going to be mindful, you're going to do it with intention. You're not going to be in this robotic autopilot mode. You're a human being, set an intention, set the intention to curate 15 minutes for yourself. Over a month, that's 7.5 hours that you are dedicating to nurturing your mind, your spirit, and your creativity. So think about that. 15 minutes per day, 7.5 hours per month. Think about if you practice something for 7.5 hours, you're going to improve. There is no way around it. Like, you're absolutely going to improve yourself if you do something for 7.5 hours. Over 6 months, that becomes 45 hours. So imagine practicing something for 45 hours. You're going to see the results of that. They're going to compound over time. So if you committed to that 15 minutes for a year, every day for 1 year, that's 91 hours of intentional, mindful growth. So when you break those numbers down, you realize that just doing something in a small increment every single day, committing to that practice and committing to it for an amount of time, and not just thinking that it's going to be something you're going to do here or there. Like, you're going to start doing it and it's going to become your way of being. It's going to become embodied. It's going to become part of you. It's going to become your routine. It's going to become your habit. Imagine what that will do for your creativity, your mental clarity, and your overall well-being once you make this part of who you are. And the way you do that is by committing to a practice. So here are some options, some creative wellness practices for you to try. Creative wellness is about exploring what feels nourishing and meaningful to you. I'm here to guide you. I'm going to give you some ideas. I'm going to share with you what works for me. And my wish for that is that you take what resonates and you transmute that into your own practice, into your own way of being. And if anything that I'm sharing here with you doesn't resonate, then you can just leave it. It's not for everybody. Everything isn't for everyone. We're all unique. We've all got our own way of being. Some things are going to resonate, and I want you to deep dive on those. I want you to do your own study. I want you to make this your practice. Other things, they might not resonate. They might not be applicable, so just leave them. Just take what you feel is meaningful to you. Take what you think is going to apply to your life and to your creativity, and leave the rest. So this is your personal time for self-expression for 15 minutes every day. So here's a couple of ideas that work for me, and they may work for you as well. So for me, it's journaling. Journaling allows you to reflect on your thoughts. You can write it, but you can journal in any way you possibly want. There's no right or wrong way to do this. You can write about what you're thinking about. You can do perhaps more like a Julia Cameron style, where she's in the morning pages, where you just write freehand, just like 3 pages, whatever comes out of your brain, just like a full mind dump. You could have a dream journal. You could have a gratitude journal. Like, however it shows up for you, putting pen to paper and just writing is a really, really incredible practice for getting to know yourself, connecting to your creativity. And if you just do it for 15 minutes a day, I promise you, you're going to see the results of that compounding. So with journaling, you can use prompts to dive deeper into your emotional or creative goals. There's so many options for prompts everywhere. And let your pen flow freely without judgment. Don't judge yourself. Don't edit yourself. Don't censor yourself. Don't think, oh, I shouldn't be writing this. Just let it flow. No one's going to read your journal. This is your time, your practice, your journaling. Do what feels authentic and comfortable to you, and don't censor yourself and worry about what anybody else is going to think. This is 100% you time, and commit to that practice. And if you'd like some guidance on that, I encourage you to join the 365 Tao Book Club. We talk about Taoist philosophy every morning. We read a page from 365 Tao, and then we journal about it. So if you feel like you need perhaps some guidance, or you'd like to be part of a community to get started on that, I got you on that. I'll put the information about that in the notes below. Also reading an analog book, picking up a book old school style and reading it, which is, the main reason that I'm recording this if you don't want to stare at a screen. Immerse yourself in a passage from an inspiring book like 365 Tao, or perhaps you want to read poetry or some other type of philosophy, like whatever uplifts your spirit. Find something that resonates with you and commit to reading just for 15 minutes every day. And use this time to absorb new perspectives and ideas. Movement. Stretch out in a yoga class, take a walk in nature, or dance to your favorite song. Just move your body. Movement is a wonderful way to unlock creativity. If you're sitting in front of a screen for long amounts of time, if you're sitting at your desk, if you're in like a bad posture kind of way, just getting up, shaking your body out, moving around, it can be incredible to get your creativity flowing, get your energy flowing. In Taoist Chinese medicine was getting your qi flowing. Just move your body. Again, you're not a robot, you're not a machine, you're a human, and humans need to move. Movement helps release tension, and it also fuels creative energy. Meditation or visualization is something else that you can commit to for 15 minutes a day. This is really powerful. Sit quietly and focus on your breath. Be present. It sounds very simple when you break it down like that. Meditation sounds simple, but if you've given it a try, or if you're in a meditation practice, it isn't as simple as that. And you might need to be guided if you're just new to meditation. And so I encourage you to perhaps do a guided meditation. There's a ton of apps online. There's all kinds of offerings here on YouTube that you can look for. Getting a guide or having somebody kind of help you out in the initial stages of meditation can definitely be beneficial. And when you're meditating, visualize your goals or visualize a creative project coming to life. Let your ideas flow when you're in that meditative state. And as I said, use a guided meditation or a sound bath, like sound healing, combining the sounds, the vibrations of the bowls and the instruments, being in a meditative state. It's a really beautiful place to be. And if you're new to a meditation practice, that's a great way to get started. Having a guide, being with a community, being with others, having someone show you the way so that you can then take that as inspiration to have your own practice. And then some creative practices to think about. Sketch, paint, doodle, whatever comes up for you, and just create with the intention of creating. You don't have to create a masterpiece. You don't need to sit down and think that this is going to go in a gallery. Just get any of those expectations out of your head. Just pick up whatever creative tools you have around and just start making things. Just start making marks on the paper, seeing how this different material that perhaps you haven't used before, see how it flows on the paper. Use a different type of paper and see how the ink or the pencil looks when you're using a different medium. Just be creative and don't have any expectations around it. Create for the sake of creating. Write a poem, play with photography, work on a craft project, play a musical instrument. There's so many ways that you can create, and if you just dedicate 15 minutes of that as a practice every day, you will see improvement. It will compound. And one of the best ways to reconnect with yourself is being present in nature. Go outside and observe the natural world around you. You are a human being, and human beings are part of the natural world. And I often say Mother Nature is the best artist, and that's a huge source of inspiration. Just observe the natural world. Go for a walk in the natural world. Look at the leaves, look at the textures, look at the colors, look at the shapes. Listen to the sound of the birds. Feel the warmth of the sun. Feel the wind. Listen to the ocean. Just be in nature. Be present, be mindful, and just be. You're a human being. You don't have to be a human doing. Allow yourself to be in that yin state where you relax and you flow with the natural world. Let nature inspire your creativity and bring you peace. So the compounding effect of this 1% of daily practice. The benefits of 15 minutes don't just stop when the timer does. They flow into the rest of your day, the rest of your week, and then they become a habit. They become part of your life. You're building a foundation for greater clarity. Regular reflection and mindfulness can clear mental clutter. You want a clear mind to be in that creative flow state. This will help you focus on what truly matters. It also enhances your creativity. Small, consistent acts of creation inspire bigger ideas and projects. Again, it's compounding. One small little thing that you do today will build into something bigger the next day, and then the next day, and then the next day. Start small. Don't set massive expectations for yourself. Start small, start realistic, start with a practice, build upon it, make it into a habit, make it into a routine, and eventually it's just going to become part of who you are. It's also going to improve your mental health. Journaling, movement, meditation, all of these practices, they're going to reduce stress and they're going to enhance your overall well-being. That's why I always say creativity is a wellness practice. Any of these things that I'm offering here as inspiration for you, if you incorporate those into your way of being, if you commit to a practice of doing them, you will see the results, not just in your physical body, in your mental clarity. They're going to manifest in all of the ways. It's also going to bring a deeper connection to yourself. When you carve out this time for yourself, you are showing up for you and you're building trust and self-respect. And as I keep saying, in this yang world, we're expected to be on and doing and being outward and being everything. Sometimes just spending a few minutes with yourself, being committed to, doing some sort of a practice to your creativity, being mindful, slowing down, reconnecting with yourself. It's a beautiful practice to build upon, and once you start doing it little by little by little, as I said, it'll become a habit, it'll become part of your routine, and it'll become part of who you are. So make it a habit. The key to unlocking the power of 15 minutes lies in consistency, and that's the thing with any practice. You need to do it consistently. Choose a time of day that works for you. Maybe it's first thing in the morning. I am a morning person. I wake up, around 5 a.m. every day. I love the morning time. I love the yin energy of the morning. That's when I feel my most alive. I feel my most creative. That's the time of day for me. That might not be your experience. You might be a night owl. You might want to stay up late. You might feel more inspired and creative in the evenings. This is about you. As I said, I'm giving you guidance and inspiration on what works for me, but I want you to think about this in your unique way and how can you interpret this so that it works for you. If you're a morning person, great. But if you're a night person, do these at night. Whatever works for you. So as it says here, if it's first thing in the morning, maybe it's a midday break if you're working, it's a wind down ritual at night, just make it something that's going to work for you. Set a timer if you need to, create a cozy space, make sure you're in an environment that's going to allow you to get into this state of creativity, and treat it as a sacred appointment with yourself. Self-care is not selfish. It's something we all need to participate in, we all need to practice, and it's a very yin way of being. You can even combine multiple practices. For example, 5 minutes of journaling, 5 minutes of movement, 5 minutes in nature. There's your 15 minutes. There's your 1% for the day. The beauty of this is that it's customizable. This is unique to you. We're all unique human beings. We're all having our own unique experience. And as I often say, there's no right or wrong. Just do what works for you. Make it unique to you. Your 15 minutes will probably look different every day depending on what you need, depending on your schedule, depending on your energy, depending on your location, and that's fine. That can be flexible and fluid as well. Build upon this 15. The more time you can dedicate, the more to the practice, the better. Obviously, start at 15 minutes, and then if you find yourself flowing into 20 or 30, allow yourself to flow with that if it feels right. Start with 15 and see how it goes from there, build from there. By dedicating 1% of your day to creative wellness, you're making an investment in your growth, in your happiness, and in your creativity. Over time, these 15 minutes will transform into hours, and it will result in clarity, creativity, and connection. And this is one of the ways to start curating your own unique life into being a work of art. It's about practice, it's about consistency, it's about setting this intention to show up for yourself and allow yourself this space, allow yourself this yin time, allow yourself this connection, and whatever way it shows up for you, whatever time of day it shows up for you, I just invite you to start. Just start with 15 minutes, just 1% of your day, and then see how that compounds. And let me know how it goes for you in the comments. I want to hear about how this is going to go working out for you in your creative life. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening. As I said, I'll put any relevant information in the notes below so that you can do your own self-study and deep dive any of the other things that I've said here. I'll also add a link to the original blog post on my website. You can visit my website, pepperlama.com, if you're interested in working with me for creative guidance. All the information is there. Thanks for being here, and I'll check in with you soon. Ciao.